Hello and welcome to another episode of Galactic Goddess Podcast. I'm your host, Radhanelia, and this episode is about the purge. Yes, the great purge of July. I did an astrology forecast with Sarah Paash in my last episode, but this is a little more detailed on how it's going to affect us with the physical symptoms, because I myself have been going through them for the last 3 days. I've been unable to eat, just drinking liquids and just sweating it out and releasing so much. I think, we're releasing so many stories from the past and unraveling so much, and it's really accelerating for those of us that are, really committed to moving forward with this. And a lot of the prep work that a lot of people I know that have been doing have been helping to accelerate this process for them so that the transition can be a little bit smoother. And what this purge means for you is you might be feeling like a little bit off this month. Maybe you might be feeling a little bit emotional, or you might have memories, like old memories of the past come up, or sentimental thoughts. For me, I had been thinking about people and experiences I hadn't thought of, since I was a teen. And as far as this physical symptom, it's been so intense. It's just really asking me to cleanse my body. And I consider myself pretty clean and I eat really well, but I have a lot of, I guess, toxins from the past, and I've been meaning to do this cleanse forever. I've been saying, okay, one day a week I want to do a juice cleanse, just because I know that it will reset my body. And I've been, of course, putting that off. And all of a sudden, boom, a tsunami came and just was like, girl, it is time for you to do that cleanse. And not just one day, but let's do 3. So I just went with a total cosmic flow and surrendered to the divine order of things, even though it felt like absolute crap. And I was laid out sweating on my couch for the past few days. But I also know that it's a huge download coming in, and I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with downloads, but I've been getting them for some time now, sporadically, and they're not something I get all the time, but when I do, when they're bigger downloads, it kind of feels like brain surgery is what it feels like. Literally, it just feels like my brain hurts so much. My entire skull hurts, and it's like just moving my head at all is just unbearable. And really what it is I do think of it like brain surgery in a way, where this cosmic light is really coming in and infusing the brain and really healing a lot of trauma and maybe old lineage stuff. It's just, there's so much in our brain that's just distorted. Let me just say it. There's no shame in that. We've been distorted for a very long time. And when you understand that this distortion has been going on for eons of time, way before your incarnation, you won't take it personally. You won't be like, oh my gosh, what are you saying? You're going to be like, oh yeah, I understand. We are due for an upgrade. We, as a collective, as humans, as humanity, we're ready to upgrade. We are. I think a lot of us are. There's a lot of resistance towards this upgrade. And, when you make any change in your life, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, you're making a change. It's, change is not always easy. There's some sacrifice involved. There's some pain involved. And there's some moments of deep, uncomfortable feelings that you have to sit with. And, I'm glad that I'm able to sit with it and just let it wash through me. I don't don't feel like I have to run off to the doctor and get a scan or anything like that. Like, I know my body is just purging. It's just purging the past. And, many of my listeners know that I used to have very toxic breast implants. Of course, I didn't know they were toxic when I was 17 years old. But that accumulation of toxins in my body really did affect my health and my well-being. And so, that stuff, whatever it is that we do to our bodies, whatever we put in our bodies, whether it be food or, toxic substances of any kind, eventually it really gets into the cellular level, and you want to start purging that out, because as more light comes in, it's not harmonious, right? It's not really synergetic. So we want to be in synergy with the energy. We're in synergy with the energy. It's a good song. So anyhow, we want to be in synergy with the energy, and that means that we're going to have to be willing to make, little shifts and changes and maybe modifications to our diet, drinking more water, more lemon water with salt. And, we want to start really tuning in to what's going on, and not just judging it like, I have a headache, I'm just going to take some aspirin. Like, I don't do painkillers, never have. I mean, maybe I used to. Okay, that's not true. I did used to, but like for a long time now I haven't. Even like after I got my explant surgery, I didn't take any like medication, pain medication. I just went with it. Okay, so trusting the process, that even though, whatever you're going through, and for some people it could look different. It could be like a huge shift or change in your life. It could be something challenging you, maybe financially or physically, in your life, or it could be a person challenging you, because we're being asked to modify and to make changes that are going to help us in the long run. And really, this is a long-term game. It's not a short-term game. We want to have the long-term results, right? And so we want to set things up so they're in our favor, so that we're most aligned to the frequencies coming in, because they're not going to stop. And it's kind of like the sun coming in, and then like if you have tons of sunscreen on, it's gonna cover your skin, but you're not going to get the rays of the light coming in, right? So we're just going through a transformation. And for me, it was a very physical experience. And I know that after this, I'm going to feel so much better and have more energy. And, I know how it's going to affect me in a positive way, because it's not the first time I've been through these things before. And, I've been through it with the headaches, and it literally feels like I'm getting brain surgery sometimes. But afterwards, I feel like there's more space, or like more room in my hard drive or something like that. And it's rewarding. So I just surrendered to the process, and like my intuition must have been on point, because with the day before I got like 6 juices, because I was like, I really need to drink more juices. And then that's like what I drank, during that time, and ginger tea. And so if your body is telling you to take a time out, then respect it and honor it. But this period we're going through, and it's really not going to be stopping like anytime soon. It's just going to be different for everyone. It's going to show up differently for everyone. And maybe it's an issue where you need to release toxic people out of your life, or move out of a toxic job situation, or a toxic living situation, or it's going to be different for everyone. But the purge is not a negative thing. It's just really asking you to be more in alignment with who you truly are, and most importantly, like who you are becoming, because we're like in the metamorphosis stage of becoming that divine being that we truly are, and it's not that we aren't, we are, but we perhaps are not fully embodied in that, and that's really not anyone's fault. Like, we're just breaking through. We actually came here so that we could evolve, right? So not everyone's going to be on the same page. Not everyone's going to want to take the same path, and not everyone's going to want the same journey. And part of this process is respecting other people's wishes. Like, if they don't want to move forward, or they don't want to evolve, or they don't want to change, and they want to stay toxic, that's their issue. And it's important to release and let go with love. And that's the hardest thing, I think, especially for me. It's hard to let people go, and to to just say, okay, I trust the process for them, that everyone has a unique journey, and maybe it doesn't look like mine, and maybe they're going to need to process things differently, or go through some more, painful situations. And, understanding that we're all growing, we're all changing. It looks different on everyone, but the end game is really the same. It really is. So being patient and not taking on like other people's issues is such a big thing. It's easy to feel sorry for people, and to feel like go into like this victim energy for them, and to feel like, oh, but woe is them, woe is me. And the thing is, with that kind of energy, feeling sorry for people, that's a really low vibration. Like, you don't want to feel sorry for people. You want to have compassion for them and what they're going through, and have compassion for yourself and what you're going through. When I was like feeling this really, really bad, where I couldn't even move yesterday, like, I don't want to feel sorry for myself. Like, I want to have compassion and just be like, well, I'm going through it, and I know that that I'm going to feel better. That's what I kept telling myself, is like, I'm going to get better. I know I'm going to feel better soon. So I understand this is part of the process, and I need to cleanse, and I'm ready for this. And then I did find, a great deal of gratitude about it, because, this is the cleanse I've been wanting to do forever. It just came about in a really dramatic way. And sometimes it's like that, if we don't make those changes, or do the things that we know, like, intuitively we need to do, the universe is like, boom, let me just give you a little spanking. It's not to be mean or anything. It's just the universe will just jumpstart us in ways that maybe we're lagging, and that's cool. So July, who's ready for July? Because here we are in the middle of July with 2 eclipses and Mercury retrograde, and I'm actually really excited. I'm excited about the transformation and the changes, and I'm excited to see what unfolds this month and how it unfolds, and also not coming in from a place of fear, or like, oh my gosh, these eclipses, but feeling more like a sense of excitement and wonder, and knowing that really everything is working for my highest and best good, no matter how it looks. It always is working out in my favor, and for that I'm very grateful. So yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about what was going on with me and this purge, and how you can also ground this energy so that you don't feel carried away by it, and grounding is so important. I'm so lucky because I'm in the Appalachian Mountains, so all I have to do is go outside to ground, and I feel incredible, and I just feel connected, to nature, and I feel so loved and supported and embraced. And I look around and I see lush beauty all around me, and flowers growing, and things manifesting. It's like everything is manifesting in front of me, beauty and health and happiness and love all around me. So that's very comforting and supporting. And for you, maybe you're living in the city, and You just need to find a place, a sacred place. Make sure you go outside and take your shoes off. You need to feel the ground beneath your feet without your rubber soles. You need to feel the soul of the earth with the sole of your feet, and just anchor in that cosmic energy and just surrender to it and say, hey, I'm moving with you. Like, I'm moving with you, Mother Gaia. Like, you're ascending, you're moving, you're changing. And as children of Mother Gaia, how could we not change with her? You know, she is a cosmic being. She's living, breathing, and a divine feminine goddess. Like, you know, we are going to be shifting with our mother. It's just happening. It's just already happening. And it's sometimes it's very subtle, and sometimes it's like, boom, it's not so subtle, like for me in my case where I just got totally sick, you know. So understanding that the process looks different, feels different, and yet we all need to do the same thing. We all need to ground down into the earth, and then take time to reevaluate your life and ask yourself, like, what is supporting me at this time? Like, what is truly supporting me at this time? Like, who in my life is supportive and loving, and, you know, who do I feel is toxic, you know, and what is it that I need to start releasing? You know, what is it that I need to start letting go? Are there beliefs I have about myself that are toxic that I've been holding on to? I'm not good enough, blah, 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 you know, whatever it is, like, what are they? And there's no shame in writing down, like, what perhaps beliefs you carry, because identifying it starts to dissolve it already. Just simply starting to identify it can already start to help the process. So, you know, we want to create a life that's lush and abundant and healthy and full of love and happiness, and we can only do that if we let go of the things that are toxic and not really serving our highest and best good, and that are pulling us down to lower frequencies and we naturally need to be, right? So we have to love ourselves so much that we truly support ourselves in the process, and that we're willing to stand up for ourselves when we need to and say no when necessary. You know, I used to have a hard time saying no to people, and I was a people pleaser, and it cost me so much. It would cost me my happiness and my health and all kinds of things. So I am not a people pleaser anymore. I am naturally loving, I am naturally kind, and I naturally love to connect with people. But if any way, shape, or form it's a toxic situation, I'm gonna say N to the O, and I won't feel bad about it. Like, I know now that my well-being is more important than anyone else's, because if I don't feel good and I'm in a toxic situation, it's going to cost me, and I can't show up in the world the way that I meant to, right? So I realize the value of my being is so much greater than sacrificing for pleasing one or two or a couple people that I wanted to please. And it just is not, or maybe many people or any people, you know. And that realization and that commitment I made to myself to really stand for myself in a really big way and love myself more than I thought I could has been like the greatest gift I could ever give myself, because, you know, more people who are loving show up into my life, more people who are giving and sharing show up in my life, rather than people who just want to show up in a vampiric way, right? So when I step up and stand up for me, it's really setting the bar. Like, no, you know, coming into my life or coming near me, you're not going to cross me like that. You know, you're not going to bring this toxicity to me, because that's just not going to happen. So it's a great feeling, and it's a feeling of accountability for myself. And, you know, we all have our soft spots, obviously, but, you know, I think, but if something happens, you get reminded real quickly. And it's important. It's important to really love yourself enough to stand up for yourself and take care of yourself, and to nurture and nourish your own being before you expect anyone else to do that for you. And when you can do that for yourself, then you can feel confident that someone else can show up for you as well and can meet you where you are, right? So it's a win-win situation. The more you give to yourself, the more you can, share and connect and interweave with another. That's a beautiful thing too. So let's talk again about this purge. Woo-hoo. It sounds like such a heavy word, and it kind of does feel heavy when you're going through it. I'm not gonna lie. It really does. It feels like, ugh, yeah, I felt like someone was playing the drum on my brain yesterday, but there's something so good about it. It's something so good about lightening up and letting go, and knowing that every time there's like a purge of some kind, that there's a breakdown, right? And of course, we all know breakdowns lead to breakthroughs. So that's always where we're headed. Everything is set up for us to have a breakthrough, even if it looks like a disaster or feels like a disaster, right? So it's such a beautiful thing. I'm out in the woods right now. I just heard some crunching outside. I looked around to see if there was like a deer or a bear. I'm always delighted with the animals out here. So incredible. I just love it so much. I've been a city girl for so long, and I love living in the city. I loved living in the city. I've been very fortunate to live in places that, for the most part, that were in the hills, where it was more surrounded by greens and things like that. So that was nice. But then, yeah, living in the city itself can be really draining and can be very stressful. So, because especially as an empath, you're going to pick up all those emotions of everyone else. And just being out here makes me feel like I'm so expansive. I'm so expansive, yet I'm so nurtured. Right? So it's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. And anytime you go into nature, it's actually very healing to do like gazing at greens. Like if you can go to a park and just gaze at like the trees, or gaze if there's like beautiful flowers and like bushes and greenery, it's important to just gaze at that. Or if you're by an ocean, just gaze at the water, and all of that, the active gazing can really, really help to integrate for you the energy that is coming through, because we need a little bit of a buffer sometimes, and the integration process is different again for everyone, right? So some of us, it can be like this one was pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie. It was really, 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 on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 9, so it wasn't easy, but I was ready for it. And it wasn't just, so this download for me was about my trip to go to the Mayan temples, and all of the like cosmic information that I picked up that I didn't have time yet to integrate. Like I was picking up so much information on a higher level that I wasn't even aware of, and that information had accumulated and it was ready to come in along with this other energy, right? It's all like, it was a huge, like basically a huge package. Download package. So I talk about activations and downloads, and I do activations on clients and people, and I do activation meditations. And what that really means is there's an activation of, so an activation is activating something that's already inside of you. It's an activation. There's an awakening, an awareness, a presence, an access point to something that you may not have had access to, something that's going to be expansive, something that is going to open up within you. It's like flowering in your garden. It's opening, and it's like you can now access the fragrance, you can access the beauty, you can access the attributes of whatever it is. So it's like very healing, and it really helps. And I love to do activations. And then downloads are getting downloads of information, like we're streams of consciousness. So we have like a master computer consciousness is how I think of it. I think of myself as a human computer sometimes. I mean, maybe not as efficient with my memory, but but like, a computer that has data. And so getting a download, sometimes when you download something really big to your computer, it slows it down and maybe it gets stuck and sticky, and that's kind of like what it is. Sometimes things get jammed and you can't send out emails. And it's a download of information that's actually going to upgrade your computer. So you're downloading this whole package so that it will upgrade your system in the long run, so that maybe your computer will go faster, or maybe your computer has more capacity, or you have more ability to access and to navigate. So there's so many benefits to the downloads, although it does slow things down. When the downloads are coming in, don't expect to be doing things that you normally do. Expect to be slow and to take it easy and to just tune in to yourself, tuning in to nature, tuning in and tuning out a lot of other stuff, And so it's like a break. It's like a total breaking point from, a lot that's going on, maybe in the world or social media or anything like that. And it's very, very refreshing because then sometimes you need permission to just be like, okay, I'm not interested in that. Right now, I just need to tune into me, to allow this download to come through, to make sure I'm navigating through this process, and I know I'm going to be upgraded. Woohoo! That's the best part. So that's it in a nutshell. I hope that was understandable for you and easy to. I hope I explained it well. But so I hope that your July is going well so far. I just wanted to share, I don't like to just share when I'm feeling great. I don't think that's authentic. Like I also want to share when I feel like shit, because I think it's important to talk about the process while you're in it. This is day 3 for me, and although I'm feeling a lot better, I do still feel like a little bit of sweats, and then like my brain still feels like it's a little bit painful, a little tender in there. But for the most part, I'm feeling so much better. And I wanted to share because this information might be helpful to someone. I did hear from some people like they're experiencing neurological issues and just different things. Sometimes you might feel off balance and you think, wow, what's wrong with me? There's something wrong. And like maybe there's not. Of course, get checked. I'm not telling you not to go to the doctor, but maybe it's just an upgrade, or maybe you need to do something to balance the energy coming in, because it will throw you off. Like, I just heard of someone that I know that basically feels like they're so off balance they can't stand straight, that like they want to get or the doctor told them to get like a metal rod in their neck, and I was like, ooh, you can't tell people what to do, but you might want to just figure out how to integrate these energies better. And that's why, the healing work is so important to me and so powerful, is because it does take something to do this work. And yes, it does, you do have to invest in it, but the results you get are worth it, because this process is it's not going to be like the smoothest ride for anyone. I don't care who you are. It shows up differently. It could show up as health issues. It could show up as, like I said, like other physical issues or relationship issues, or just different things showing up in your life. But it's just all coming back to ourselves. Everything is really just showing us where we need to do our own work. And I've always thought like the best investment you could ever make is in yourself. That's how I've always felt. And that's why I have invested in so many healers before I became one, because I didn't have a problem, investing in something I thought would be beneficial, and I have no regrets about it. It led me down an incredible path and to a higher purpose and to much deeper meaning in my personal life. So it's been a really beautiful gift that I've given myself. So That being said, if you'd like to reach out to me, please go ahead and do so at goddesscodeacademy.com. And I hope you enjoy today's show, Purging. It all comes back to breaking down to breaking through. So I'm sending you so much love and wishing you the most beautiful day. Okay. Bye-bye, Radha.